Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about something that affects a lot of leaders but isn't talked about nearly enough. Rejection Sensitive Dysmorphia, RSD. And ADHD or autism in leadership, they connect. If you've ever felt criticism hits you harder for you, or if you work extra hard to avoid rejection, this might be the insight you need. Let's dive in. First off, what is rejection sensitive dysmorphia, RSD? It's an intense emotional response to perceived or actual rejection, criticism, or failure. It's especially common in people with neurodiversities, but others experience it too. It's not just about feeling bad. It's a deep, overwhelming rejection that can impact decision-making, motivation, and leadership effectiveness. Trust me, I have seen it many times. It just doesn't get named. RSD isn't just about being sensitive. Research shows that people with ADHD and autism neurodifferences are neurologically wired to experience rejection more intensely than others. If you're in a leadership role, this can be both an advantage and a challenge. Strengths of RSD in leadership. Let's talk about that a little bit. Believe it or not, RSD can actually make you a stronger leader. It really does. Let's talk about some of those advantages. The first thing that I'd really like to point out in that advantage aspect is it helps leaders be more emotionally available, have a higher emotional intelligence. RSD makes leaders deeply empathetic, improving leadership and team morale and communication. It really does. Being passionate and driven. Fear of failure fuels innovation and resilience. Hyperfocus and creativity. Sometimes that ADHD allows deep focus on problem solving and thinking outside of the box, which can also happen when you're working with that RSD. Strong team relationships. Sensitivity to emotion helps build trust and engagement. Being authentic and honest about that with people, it will surprise them and connect them. Challenges can also come with RSD in leadership. Some of those might look like some of these types of things. It's going to look like a disadvantage at times because it will affect your leadership in possibly taking criticism the wrong way or personally. And this is really important, to not take criticism personally. Constructive feedback can feel like a personal attack, which can cause you to become defensive, which leads to other things. Sometimes it can lead to impulsivity just to get out of the uncomfortableness. Leadership can make a rash decision or avoid rejection. Emotional burnout can happen from all of that, and constantly striving for approval can be exhausting. People pleasing gets associated over here. Saying yes too often to avoid disappointing others, right? If this sounds familiar, don't worry. Don't worry, you're not alone. Many successful CEOs, entrepreneurs, and executives deal with this every day. I really do. I hear about it all the time. The key is learning to manage that RSD rather than letting it control you. I say it all the time. So, some tips on managing your RSD. So, how can you handle RSD and ADHD in your leadership? Here's some practical mindset shifts and strategies that can help. If you use any mindfulness techniques, I highly recommend that. Using that to kind of shift that, reframing criticism as growth. Feedback it's not rejection, it's an opportunity to improve. Separate feelings from facts. Just because you feel rejected doesn't mean you actually are. Practice emotional regulation. Something I teach a lot of my clients. Techniques like deep breathing and journaling can really help. Build a support network. Having mentors and trusted colleagues for perspective makes a big difference. Shift from perfectionism to progress. Progress over perfectionism is the goal. Oh, in case you're wondering, can RSD be cured? No, it's actually one of the biggest questions people ask. The short answer is no, but it can obviously and easily be managed. Therapy, coaching, mindfulness, there are some therapies that work well. Cognitive behavioral techniques can all help build emotional resilience. You also might want to check out my article that I just wrote that has a whole bunch of this information and some additional links to help you turn RSD into a superpower. So here's your takeaway. RSD doesn't have to hold you back, not at all. In fact, your ability to feel deeply, think creatively, and adapt quickly makes you an amazing leader. The key is learning how to channel that sensitivity into a strength. So now that we've covered all of that, if you have found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hey, comment below. I want to hear from you. How do you manage rejection sensitivity in leadership? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next video. Bye now.